Tonight on the MTN News, money from the mine.
That's just fewer opportunities for our kids, which is probably the hardest part.
One Stillwater County School District hoping for help from the county's biggest moneymaker as Park City struggles to find funding. County commissioners say look elsewhere. We'll explain.
Plus, a woman's near-death medical emergency.
I didn't think I was going to be here.
Turns into a life-saving blood bank for those living in rural Montana.
And a picturesque view worth heading out and about for.
Gets us away from life and just relax and clear our minds so we can get back to work again.
Once impacted from historic flooding, why you don't want to wait on East Rosebud Lake.
The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andrea Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. Stillwater County commissioners say they won't give Stillwater mine money to the Park City School District.
A tough dose of reality today for the district as it struggled to find funding, even pleading with commissioners to be included in a long-time mine pact.
Our Charlie Kleps reports on how they came to that decision and what it means for Park City residents.
For years, the Park City School District has been pressed for funding, and after multiple failed levy attempts, they recently attempted to be added to a Stillwater Mine Impact Plan, which would have provided the school some extra funding. But on Thursday, that failed as well, and that's leaving more concerning questions for the district going forward.
It's just tight. You know, we're running out of space.
The circumstances at Park City schools have been dire for years.
We tried to pass a mill levy last year. It didn't go.
Failed levy after failed levy has put the school in a unique bind.
This year I have to do a math teacher who's also going to be doing music.
Teachers working extra subjects, larger class sizes, and of course modular trailers instead of a solid building are just a few examples of the struggling school.
Yeah, you have to be as creative as possible, right?
The school's latest creative attempt came back in February.
We all may regret.
We don't care.
This was the explosive scene at a Stillwater County Commissioners meeting as residents sought additional funding for the school from the Stillwater mine. The funding would have come from an amendment to a mine impact plan, which allocates funds from the Stillwater mine to schools in Stillwater County that have a significant percentage of mine-working families. Commissioners voted that day to have a third party decide if Park City would be included.
At this point, this is our decision.
On Thursday, the room was much more empty as commissioners announced the decision to not amend the impact plan.
The numbers don't line up with what's in an amendment.
County Commissioner Steve Reveland says the study showed that not enough students at Park City warranted a change.
It's unfortunate for the schools in Park City. I understand that, but I'm confident that we made the right decision based on the facts that we have.
A gut punch for Grabowski, who says they'll just have to keep moving along.
Park City Schools is still doing everything that we can to educate our kids.
The folks that live in the district need to pass a levy.
In Stillwater County, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Now to the latest on former President Trump's upcoming visit to Montana. He's going to hold a rally next week with Republican Senate hopeful Tim Sheehy. The former president's campaign confirms the happen in Bozeman on Friday, August 9th. The rally will be held at the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. Doors will open at 4, and Trump is slated to deliver remarks at 8 p.m. Tickets for the event can be requested through the Trump campaign website.
The former president is familiar with Treasure State, having visited 4 times during the 2018 campaign, holding rallies in Great Falls, Bozeman, Missoula, and here in Billings. So what do folks think of this event? Our Jonathan Ambarian took to the streets of Helena to find out.
One thing's clear, regardless of what people think about former President Donald Trump, they say his visit to Montana is going to bring a lot of attention. Trump held his first rally in Montana in 2016 in Billings, the Republican primaries for president. He then traveled to the state 4 times in 2018 during Montana's U.S. Senate campaign, holding rallies in Great Falls, Billings, Missoula, and Bozeman. Paul Bellamy wasn't able to, but people who did.
Drew a lot of people, and they were up. I thought it was a pretty good thing.
He says he likes Trump's business experience and hopes he'll have a localized message at the event.
I don't think he needs to boast on his record as much as he does. I want to hear more about what he's going to do for Montana. And I believe that a rural state like we have we get forgotten about a lot, especially back east.
The Trump campaign made tickets for the rally available Thursday. Joan Hobine says she would love to attend, but she's dealing with family health problems at the moment. She says she wants to hear him talk about issues like border security and what she calls ridiculous policies.
We should be able to say what, in this country, what we believe without being put down or called racist or anything else. And that's one of the things I want him to talk about.
She believes his visit will be a good thing for Montana.
People need to speak out and they need to vote. Whether they're Democrat or Republican, we need votes.
Of course, many Montanans aren't as supportive of Trump's visit. I talked to several of them who didn't want to go on camera for this story, but had concerns about things like the tone of the campaign. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
The heat, of course, is on. It's only going to get hotter as we head into the weekend.
Let's check in with meteorologist Jason Stiff for a first look at the forecast now.
Yeah, plenty of heat outside. We're not done with it yet, but there are some changes in the long-term forecast today, though. We didn't have any clouds to keep us cooler around Montana or Wyoming. We barely had any smoke in the air, but that, too, unfortunately, is going to change. We're taking a live look outside on our Stockman Bank camera. It was a high 5 day in the Magic City, with our high being 5 degrees higher than average. 94 this afternoon after a seasonable low of 61 degrees. Obviously, no precipitation thus far today. That's not going to happen, but there are some chances in the long-term forecast for some rain. Also a chance for more of that smoke to return. I'll let you know how much longer these above average and record-breaking temperatures will last in a few minutes.
The first lawsuit is filed following that deadly E. coli outbreak in Flathead County. One person died and 12 others were infected in the outbreak. Lower Valley Processing Company and Kalispell and Gunsight Saloon are named as defendants in the case.
You know, we just need to make sure that our processors do better, and frankly, for the restaurants to pay attention, to cooking standards. I think there might be a little complacency here, and part of the discovery process in a lawsuit is to sort of, get to that so we can all learn from these mistakes so they don't happen again.
Lower Valley Processing recalled all ground meat products produced on June 5th due to E. coli concerns.
Well, critical care when you need it most can be difficult when living in rural Montana. However, an innovative idea is changing that and saving lives.
Our Haley Monaco has the story of a Montana woman whose life was saved, and now there's an emergency drive-through blood bank because of it.
Crystal Highwalker's brush with death in February of 2019 led Network with hopes that there would be no more stories like hers.
As new life is embraced at this Lame Deer residence,
everything's just beautiful to me now.
Crystal Highwalker celebrates her second chance at it.
I died from massive blood loss.
In February 2019, a blizzard hit the area. As snow poured from the sky, Highwalker started fainting and made her way to urgent care.
We ended up finding out I was pregnant, and then he was saying it was a ectopic pregnancy. He told me that it was I was bleeding, and that they needed to get me to Billings as soon as possible.
It was one obstacle after another, trying to save her life.
No helicopters would fly in.
Once an ambulance was able to transport Highwalker to Billings, she technically died 3 times during the 2.5-hour ride. Her husband had to help give CPR.
I think if we would have had blood like in between, like Crow or Hardin, it would have been a lot easier for him and the worker and like the ambulance,
The question came up, why can't we pick up blood as we drive by a facility and continue on to definitive care?
When reviewing Highwalker's case, 2 spots were passed that they could have gotten blood from. The Montana State Trauma Care Committee became determined to not let this happen again.
So we have this map of red dots and purple dots on who actually has at least 1 unit of blood.
So the Montana Interfacility Blood Network, a first-of-its-kind program, was born in 2022, allowing first responders to arrange to pick up blood for their patients in eastern Montana.
People felt that this was something that is needed in a rural state like ours. In May of this year, It won the Peregrine Award for the 2024 Trauma Innovation Award.
From a life nearly lost.
Life's pretty good, and I wish it didn't take that traumatic experience to realize how much I should have been appreciating life, you know.
To a life-saving innovation. In Lame Deer, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks commissioners will consider raising the statewide wolf hunting and trapping quota at its August meeting. Under the proposal, the hunting and trapping harvest would be capped at 334 wolves, an increase of 21 animals from the previous season. FWP also noted that the number of confirmed livestock losses to wolves and wolf removals were down last year. Wolves are confirmed to have killed 32 animals, including cattle, sheep, and a livestock guard dog.
Still to come on the MTN 530 News here on Q2, from the farm to the stand, what it takes to get this sweet summer staple on your dinner table.
And in this week's Out and About, we'll head out for a hike at scenic East Rosebud Lake.